Hey guys, it's Mark from Thoughts of a Wargamer. Just bringing you the video on the new Space Marine Codex. Picked it up yesterday from a workshop down in Dudley. I've had a bit of a good read through it. Just going to get you through the basics of the Codex itself. Straight up and down the line, it is the thickest of all the codexes I've seen. 179 pages all in all. Front cover artwork is phenomenal. Back gives you enough of all the new bits and pieces that are on there. I see Centurions there. I see the new Storm Talon, the Storm Raven, and some of the new veterans are on there. Some of the new tactical marines are on there as well. We'll get back to the opening part of the Codex in a bit. Hey guys, back again with the full review of the new Marine Codex. Just run you over the brief of the Codex and my review from my own opinion. The Codex, as you have already put across, is quite a lengthy 179 pages worth. Runs into 4 chapters, no pun intended here. You've got obviously the lore of the Marines and certain chapters that are covered by it. Then it runs over the rule section, all the new bits and pieces that are in there, all the new chapter tactics and the warlord traits. And you've got the colour section where heavy metal obviously show off their bits and pieces, and then obviously you've got the army list itself and the points and where that runs to. From the get-go, the lore section, brilliant bit of fluff. Most of it's copy and pasted from like older codexes and the rulebook itself. So some of it's not going to be new to a lot of people, but some of it might be worthwhile for people to gather all their, the background and the history to their own chapter, and also give people ideas to do in their own, which is brilliant, and I like that. It's inspirational to some people. It also runs over a little bit of the heresy, not too much, and I thought if they'd have put too much in, it would have, derided from the actual, it's 40k, not 30k, and everyone knows what the heresy is. Then it goes on to touch on the different loyalist chapters, Ultramarines, White Scars, Imperial Fists, Crimson Fists, Black Templars, Salamanders, Iron Hands, and the Raven Guard. And then adds little snippets of history to them, and then all their successors as well that have spawned off, and then little bits of lore about the Marines themselves. Stuff like the honour markings that Marines have got, like why has that Marine got a red helmet, or why is there that little bullet hanging off the shoulder guard on that Marine model you've got there. It tells you, it's a marksmanship thing. All the stuff about like the Terminator honours and the Purity Seals and the Deathwatch markings are all covered in there. What battle barges do, if you've read the books, I'm sure you know what battle barge is. If you play Gothic like I used to years ago, battle barge is quite possibly one of the best ships in the galaxy. Then it runs into some really nice images, some nice pictures, really nice thematic kind of stuff there, inspirational stuff. Again, I really love it. Then we go into the rule section, which obviously brings the Codex into the new game system, streamlines it, brings it into the new warlord traits. You've got 6 there, obviously, some of which are a bit mediocre fillers, and then you've got a couple of really good ones, like things that you get extra bonuses when you kill the enemy warlord, or stuff that means you can re-roll things. Pretty good stuff if that's what you need. Then you've got the new chapter tactics, which is obviously they've obviously had to bring the old chapter tactics up to play. No longer can you automatically choose to pass or fail your leadership test, which I thought was quite fun. Now each individual detachment or each individual themed army has its own chapter tactic. So your Ultramarines have got a chapter tactic, your Sallies have got one, your Black Templars have got one, your Imperial Fists have got one, Iron Hands have got one, and the White Scars have got one. Oh, and the Raven Guard as well, don't forget those. They've all got their own little chapter tactic. I'm not going to go over the rules. Some of them are pretty good, some of them are a nice bonus to your army, some of them are like an overall, you'll never see it until it happens kind of bonus. The Ultramarines one is quite profound when you use it, adding bonuses to your Tactical Devastator or Assault Marines, or the entire army itself, but will have a beneficial effect on those 3 individual units or 3 individual types of units. Very nice. And each of which is very thematic and kind of emphasises the ideal of that chapter. Great stuff. Colour section, I can't really fault it. It's all really good stuff. Nice pictures of some of the new models in there, like the new Centurions, painted, different colours, kind of like give you the idea. There's no how to paint in here, obviously all that stuff's on the workshop website and all the downloadable bits and pieces, which is okay. The rules themselves, obviously, or the army list even itself, is pretty much as it is. Certain things have had a point deduction. I think the biggest thing that's had a point deduction, but is tip top of the pops, is Tigurius. He's dropped 65 points and he's now like one of the best psychics in the game. Check it out on the internet, they'll tell you everywhere. He's brilliant. Psychic level 3, does this, this and this, lightning bolts out of his fingertips, all that kind of nonsense. He's pretty good for what he does, and that much of a points decrease is amazing. I'm not going to go away too much of the rules. If you've got the Codex there, I'm sure you can read it yourself. This is my opinion of it. The Codex itself is really nice. It's quite a hefty, it's pricey. It gives you what it needs, but the rules are always going to be the same. They're Marines, you need force to hit, you need force to wound, you've got a 3+ armour save. It's pretty much that. I like the way it's put together. If they'd added some new bits and pieces to it, yes, they have. Have they taken away some of the older claptrap that was in there? Yes, they have. They've moved away from it being solely an Ultramarine Codex, in comparison to, at the time, the Chaos Space Marine Codex being a Red Corsair Codex. They've moved away from that and they've added flavour for the other chapters. There are Iron Hands players out there are Raven Guard players out there are Salamanders players out there, and there are still Black Templar players out there. So they add all of that into this one codex, they condense it and they put it in there and they give it a kick. The Black Templars Codex was a massive codex, but was pretty much Marine units with a little bit extra. So why have a codex? So what they've done is they've just bundled the Black Templars into this codex with a few units extra, like the Emperor's Champion, your Crusader squads, but still managed to keep the Marine aspect to it. So you can take Devastator squads, you can take Centurions in a Black Templar army. Why wouldn't you? If you want to, you can. If you want to have a Black Templar-esque army, but not in black and white armour, you can do that now. You can have your Crusader squads in, your own themed army, which I think is brilliant. It lets people add flavour to what they've already got, which I think is great. They've allowed that. And they've got rid of having Vulcan Hastan in a Raven Guard army where you can have them all infiltrating with multi-melters that are twin-linked. They've got rid of that, which I'm quite thankful for, because then people can't take advantage of the core rule set to annoy everyone else, which isn't the way I play the game. If I'm going to play a themed army, I'll play a themed army. I'm not going to come down there to win by running that kind of a list. It's silly. I think they're still going to get a little bit of bugs there, and I'm going to wait to see how the new Marine Codex runs out. I'll check some internet posts and see how it's running. I'll run my own Deathstalkers list onto the website in a short while, see what you guys think of it. But either way, my review out of this, it's an 8 out of 10. It's good. It's not brilliant. The writing's really good. Cruddas is, really impressed. And all the artwork is superb. And there's no Blanchisms in there, which is great. So yeah, I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10, in my opinion. Great stuff. Anyways, guys, if you need to leave me some comments, pop them down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the blog and to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you have, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next time around.